In today's session, we will conclude siman Tafresh Pei Vav, the first siman in all of Hilchos Purim, dealing with the fast of Esther, Tainus Esther. We'll begin by concluding the third sif and final sif of the siman, and then we will add tremendously important, relevant insights. Yeshem is an in the Shulchan Aruch writes, some people fast Shloisha Yomim for 3 days. Zecher Latainus Esther, to commemorate this fast of Esther. 3 days. Mishnah Berurah comments down over here. Peirush, the explanation is Sheni Chamishi Sheni. Some people fast Monday, Thursday, and then Monday again. Achar Purim, after Purim. So it's not 3 days in a row, it's on the laning days. Mishanichnas Odan Marbin Besimcha, well-known halacha, which comes from the Gemara at the end of Maseches Tainis on Chav Tes Amud Aleph.
That my phone?
Once the month of Adar enters in,
What happened?
then we increase our happiness. Umi sheyesh lo dini makom. If someone has a court case, yishbot ba'adar, it should be done during the month of Adar. Yecholim b'nei ir l'sakin b'haskama u'b'chedim aleihem v'al achreihem lasos purim b'yoyim shenasa boines. The members of the city are able to fix, with the agreement of everyone over there, to make Purim lasos purim b'yoyim shenasa nes. Make Purim on a day when a miracle occurred. This is a pretty rare occurrence for this to happen. If the miracle happened to an individual during the month of Adar, and he made a neder, he made a vow that he's going to do Purim. When a leap year comes, person needs to do Purim on the second Adar. Unless the miracle happened on the first Adar. So that is the Mishnah Berurah on Sif Gimel. Relatively straightforward. Let's take now this time to discuss some insights regarding this siman over here. So in terms of what's going on in the Oz V'Hadar Mishnah Berurah, just want to point out one interesting statement that they make regarding this halacha of Mishanichnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha. Once the month of Adar enters in, we increase our happiness. So what this means over here is, this is a time, a miraculous time. It's a time when miracles happen for the Jewish people. We have Purim, we have Pesach. It's an auspicious time. And therefore, a person should make sure, if he has a court case, to strive to get it done during Adar. All right. Now, obviously, we have to define what a court case is. If you're just, paying off a ticket, that's a court case. You might need a jury and everything, which are pretty rare. I don't know. There's what to discuss over there. Okay. Let's now focus on a summary of the halachas that the Piskei Teshuvos relates on the siman. This fast, the fast of Esther, it's not one of the fasts that the prophet Zechariah mentions. Also, it's not even in the Gemara, it's a custom. Now, we find hints to it, allusions, and there are many reasons for it, and it's a special time, but it's not from the Torah and it's not from the rabbis. Nevertheless, it's still important, of course. Before we go into some of the halachas of this, let's delve into some of the reasons for this fast. We already saw in the Mishnah Berurah one reason, Mordechai Ester, and in that time they fasted. A second reason is it's to remember that Hashem hears every single individual at the time of distress. The Maggid Meshadim relates that the angel told the Beis Yosef that he needs to be, that there's a concern that maybe because of all of the eating, drinking, festivities, happiness of Purim, person will come to sin. And therefore, Hashem first put the fast there so that we should be saved from sinning and so that the Satan will not be able to prosecute. It's another reason for this fast. So Shail Teshuvas Shevet Ekahati explains that even though that Haman made a decree, that decree could awaken and manifest itself and come back even nowadays. In order to offset that, we fast. Since his fast isn't is more lenient, therefore there are more halachic leniencies that apply. We'll go through the Dershu momentarily, but there's an idea sometimes during the other fasts, there's room to be stringent regarding certain halachas. On Tainus Ester, you're allowed to shower, you're allowed to shave your beard, get a haircut, especially if this is being done in honor of Purim itself, which of course follows immediately after the fast, unless Tainus Ester falls out, unless Purim falls out on Sunday, in which the fast would be on the Thursday beforehand. So all of these are basically more lenient. And if you are allowed to eat on this fast, for example, we said a pregnant woman nursing, that doesn't mean you should feast. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be having meat, wine, etc., unless you need it for health purposes. And you should eat privately, not in public in front of other people. That's another important halacha over here.
What was that he said about brushing the teeth?
Yeah. He says that's
That's
like other fasts. We'll have to learn about that when we learn some in Tov Kuf Samach Zayin. He doesn't
and
say.
what about mouthwash and stuff like that?
Yeah, we're gonna learn about that when we learn that siman.
Okay.
Yeah, the siman, it's not really presented here, the information. I don't want to cross-reference and open other simanim. We'll get there. We just have to keep moving. Um, some say that someone who is weak, and because of the fast, it's going to be very difficult for him. This is a tremendous leniency. The Dershu quotes this also. Quote here first. Some say that someone who's weak, and by fasting, it's going to be very difficult to keep Purim. He's going to be in a lot of pain over Purim. He could be lenient and not fast. However, says the Piskei Teshuvos, one should not be lenient with this halacha unless he asks a Talmud Chacham. In the Dirshu in footnote 9, they say if a person is weak and the fast will have a negative impact on him for the next day, they quote from the Das Torah, Shem the Shai's Jews Samim Rosh, Shemayim Rosh, excuse me. It says that he's exempt from fasting. Rav Elyashiv also rules that way. They quote the Piskei Shemuos on that, so it's the same ruling. Person can't be fooling himself. They quote the same thing in the footnotes over here. Same exact sources as the Dershu, but a person can't fool himself. He has to be really well effective, and he has to know. It's not so simple also. So that's the halacha over there. Yeah, we're going to be learning about. I mean, you don't need to put it in the chat. You could ask the question in the middle.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but we're going to learn actually in the next simon that we're going to be doing. Siman Tafrei Shadi Beis. I already just looked at it very briefly. We're going to learn about breaking fast before Megillah. Breaking fast before Megillah should not be done. We'll see if there are any exceptions to that. One of it's an interesting halach over here. Anything that could increase happiness, that's what should be done during the time of Adar. Everyone should estimate what is that he likes that brings him to happiness. It's a mitzvah to increase with anything, simcha shel mitzvah, happiness when it comes to mitzvah. This is talking about, we have to define what simcha is, what is happiness. This is not talking about happiness that a person, plays video game for hours.
Huh.
That's that's not real happiness. That will leave a void after. After you play so long, you won't feel happy. You just feel like you just wasted your time. So we'll have to discover You have to figure out what true happiness is. But eating nicer food, that could get you on the right track. Um, Anything that is bothering you, any sort of worry, sadness, remove it from your mind during this month of Adar. And try to uplift your spirit. The entire month is included in this halacha of you should increase your happiness. Some say that even Nisan is included in this. So custom to hang signs that saying once the month of Adar enters in, we increase our happiness. Some even hang it on the spot where it's supposed to be empty on your house. Zeicher l'churban, an unfinished part of the house, right? So some
Who
even
says
cover
that you should hang the signs?
hang the signs right over here.
No, but who says? Yeah, that's interesting.
In the
Yalkut
footnotes
Avraham.
over here, the Yalkut Avraham. You have the Halicha Shloimo, where Shlomo Zalman Auerbach already talks about this minhag.
Hmm.
Charles Chuvas Kol Aryeh. You have people talk about this. So this is a big idea when it comes to other. You get the signs. In other words, sometimes we need props, other items to get us to that happiness. So these signs could already help. You see a lot in shuls and yeshivas. There's old decorations. It changes the attitude, so to say. So that's
And,
important.
and it and it's mamish the whole even after Purim was saying
Yeah, the whole month. Now we
because
actually
it's
discussed
interesting
that in the
by
past somewhere.
yeah.
What?
No, because by of, we say mamatim b'simcha, but that only goes till Tisha B'av,
Right.
or till the
That's
tenth
the
of
difference
Av.
over here. Correct. We discussed that in the past. We had a long presentation on this. Mishnechnas Adamar ben B'Simcha. In footnote 26, he says, this is not talking about that a person is going to be whining and dining and stuffing his face and overeating and over drinking. That's not going to bring to simcha. That's hoylus kvedus va'atzlus. That will bring to laziness and how do you translate it? Hoylus, foolishness. And therefore, person has to know. Now, since the entire month is blessed, there's an idea of making weddings during this month. Um, all right, they go into weddings and the timing, the different customs there. Okay. Now,
Does that work also by Adar Rishon? If there's double
oh,
Adar, then
that
that
very
all
good.
that.
That's the next line. So if you look at Old Zavav over here, he says the Gemara says that Mishnechnas Adar Mar Mesimcha Tainis Chavtes. Rashi says you may nisim highly Israel Purim Pesach. It's a time when miracles happen. You have Purim and Pesach. Some say from this language that's being used that this obligation of rejoicing, if there's two others, it's a leap year, over yor. So it only applies in the second other, which is when the holiday of Purim will be, and there would even be an idea of having happiness on Nisan. So that's what the Gemara means when it says if you have a court case, do it in Adar, aka the second Adar, because on that month, that's a special month that that we will have tremendous success on.
You
So
would
it
think from the
was
Mishnah it's the other way. Ein bein Adar Rishon Adar Sheni, right?
right.
Only those things, but you would think Simcha still applies.
They go into that, correct? Um, and that's actually the next paragraph over here. Some say that no, you have to be happy on the first month also, because according to one opinion, in Gemara and Sota Yud Beis, Moshe was born on Adar Rishon, the first Adar on the seventh of the month, and Moshe Rabbeinu's birth is a major reason and factor for the victory that the Jews had in the time of Purim with Haman over there. At the end of the day, as the Gemara Megillah Yud discuss, at the end of the day, the Ramah already concludes and says, "V'toiv mishta tamid," just to always be have that joy over there. So this is basically a summary of what the Piskei Tshuva says. I just want to summarize some of the points of the Dare Shu. They have around 2, 3 pages. They actually have a lot of length for this just one page Mishnah Brew over here. This in the one simon. Just want to summarize some of the notes over here. They say over here in footnote 5, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach in the Halicha Shloimo says that for those who are stringent not to shower on other fast days, or during 9 days, that's a whole discussion of itself that we have to learn about. You don't need to do this by the fast of Esther, because this fast over here has nothing to do with Avelus. There's no mourning. It's just a simple explanation, as we saw in the Mishnah Berurah, to recall, to remember that they fasted in the time of Mordechai and Esther. Rav Nisim Karelitz also rules this way, as well as Rav Chaim Kanievsky. Also, haircuts, Chaim Kanievsky says, is permissible. He's actually quoted in the Shalosh Tshuvas, Rivos Ephraim Chelik Beisim and Kuf Beites, Os Gimel. This is all in the Derech. Regarding listening to music during the fast of Esther, again, we are just talking about this fast, not the other fast. Reb Chaim Kanievsky, quoted in the Yismach Yisrael, says permissible to listen to music. However, Rosh Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, excuse me, Rav Yosef Shalom Eliyashiv, sorry about that. The Asher Yishel Gimel Parak Memhei Oschav says you should not be listening to music because at the end of the day it's a fast.
Wait, he argued with his father-in-law.
Um, yeah, yeah, that happens. That's correct. Very good, David. Um, yeah, good point. Now, that's pretty much everything on the page of the Dirshu that's worthy to summarize. They have in the back a Maluim where they ran out of room over here to write all the notes. So one other interesting point is in footnote 11, they quote from the Aruch HaShulchan in Oz Daled, Shals Chuvas Marshan Chilei Siman Sadiyah, who says that even if someone is pregnant or nursing that is not in pain, they do not need to fast on this fast of Esther over here. Tainis Esther, and also Rosh Hashanah Auerbach says this as well as Shas Chuvas Divrei Yotzev and Orchaim Siman Reish Sadi Aleph Divrei Yotzev. I always get confused. I think it's the Sanzer Rebbe. Yeah, I always get confused with that and the Klosenberger Rebbe, the Divrei Chaim. I'm pretty sure the Divrei Yotzev is the Sanzer Rebbe. He says in our generation that women are weak. According to everyone, they could be lenient, even if she's pregnant and she's not in pain, etc. Which wouldn't be as simple, of course, on Tisha B'av and Yom Kippur. It should be pointed out that in general, Hasidim are super duper lenient when it comes to women and just halacha fasting in general. So that statement is not surprising over there. So that basically is the siman. I already started typing up the notes to summarize it, and that basically is the siman. Any question, comments on the siman?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't
No.
know. No.
What
Okay.
was the point that David made again that you said was a good point?
Oh, that Chaim Kanievsky is the son-in-law of Rav Elyashiv, so he's
Wait,
arguing on
you
his.
you
Oh,
are
okay.
you're allowed to argue with your share, right? You can do that.
Yes, it's a very
See
good
that with
question.
the
What'd you
with the
say?
Bach and I said so you see that with the Bach and who's his
Bachamataz,
son-in-law
yeah,
again?
yeah,
Yeah.
Bachamataz, yeah. It's a interesting topic. We'll learn Kibbud Avim Siman Reish Mem one day. Mitzvah Hashem. We'll see the logic behind it. What you could argue, what you can't. That's your day at territory. We could do your day. We could do anything.
Wow.
Yeah, we could. We have our own curriculum over here. So okay. Okay. So let's stop here.